The small town of Ravenswood had always been quiet, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone else and nothing much ever happened. That all changed the summer the Whispering Carnival came to town. It arrived without warning. The night sky suddenly aglow with the lights of 1,000 bulbs and the distant strains of eerie carnival music drifting on the wind. No one saw them set up. One day the field at the edge of town was empty, and the next, it was filled with garish tents and rickety rides. The carnival's name was whispered everywhere, but no one could recall seeing any advertisements or announcements. It just appeared. Curiosity soon overcame the townsfolk's initial wariness. They flocked to the carnival grounds, drawn by the promise of entertainment and escape from their mundane lives. The entrance was flanked by two tall, skeletal figures holding up a creaking sign that read, "The Whispering Carnival. Enter if you dare." A shiver ran down the spine of anyone who passed beneath it, but the allure of the unknown pulled them in. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of cotton candy, popcorn, and something else, something musty and old, like forgotten memories. The barkers called out in low, melodic voices, their eyes never quite meeting those of their customers. There was a fortune teller with a glass eye that seemed to follow you, a strong man who lifted impossibly heavy weights with ease, and a bearded lady whose beard was made of writhing, living serpents. But the star attraction was the Hall of Mirrors. People whispered about it in hushed tones, saying it was like no other funhouse they'd ever seen. The entrance was adorned with mirrors reflecting distorted versions of those who dared to enter. Some laughed nervously at their reflections. Others hesitated, feeling a strange tug of fear. Maggie, a young woman with an adventurous spirit, decided to face the Hall of Mirrors alone. As she stepped inside, she was immediately disoriented by the maze of reflective surfaces. Each mirror showed her different, Maggie, a voice breathed from behind her. She spun around, heart pounding, but saw only her reflection, wide-eyed and terrified. The mirror seemed to ripple, and, for a moment, she saw a figure standing behind her reflection, a tall man in a black coat with hollow eyes. Panicking, Maggie ran, the maze of mirrors closing in around her. The whispers became screams, and she couldn't tell which way was out. She stumbled, falling against a mirror that shattered on impact. Instead of the cold, hard floor, she felt herself tumbling through darkness. falling endlessly. When she finally stopped, she found herself in a dimly lit chamber, surrounded by old, dusty carnival props and mannequins frozen in macabre poses. The air was thick with the same musty scent she had noticed before. In the center of the room stood the man in the black coat. His hollow eyes stared into hers as he smiled, revealing sharp, yellowed teeth. "Welcome, Maggie," he intoned, his voice a raspy whisper. "You've come to join the carnival." Maggie tried to back away, but her feet wouldn't move. It was as if the very ground held her in place. The man stepped closer, his smile widening. "You see, everyone who enters the Hall of Mirrors has a part to play. We collect souls, you see, to keep the carnival alive." She could feel her strength draining, her will to fight slipping away as the man's hollow eyes bored into hers. Desperately, she tried to scream, but no sound came out. The last thing she saw before darkness claimed her was the man raising his hand, and her own reflection in his eyes, twisting into something unrecognizable. The next day, the townsfolk noticed a new attraction at the carnival. A mannequin that looked disturbingly like Maggie, positioned in the Hall of Mirrors. Her eyes seemed to follow them as they passed, and some swore they could hear faint whispers coming from her frozen lips. Weeks passed, and more people went missing. Years later, another town would see the same lights, hear the same eerie music, and feel the same inexplicable pull. The Whispering Carnival would arrive, and the cycle would begin again, feeding on fear and lost souls, forever whispering its dark secrets to those who dared to listen.